one dish, two fry methods. Which is the best to make banquet style fried prawns the best? Tangy and creamy, crunchy and crispy. Walao eh, if you have frozen prawns, you have to try this. Hi, it's your Malaysian girl Jean doing another banquet style dish that you will usually find in Chinese restaurants or Chinese wedding dinner. Now, why a showdown for these two frying methods? Well, sajalah, experiment ma, fun. For first, I want to introduce method A, velveting, a frying method that promises juicy and tender protein plus a crispy and crunchy coating. First, of course, you have to clean the prawns and remove the poo-poo punya veins. And I cut the back open and remove the shell. Season them with salt and white pepper. Mix them around first, and then that's when you add in egg white. 1 egg white is enough. The yolk, you use it for other things lah ha. And then this is when you need to chubit repetitively on the prawns so that they create this thick mucus-like kind of look on the egg white. You can even circle like that or chubit lah. Anyhow, you just follow how I did with my fingers, okay? This is how it's supposed to look like. And then grab a bowl, put in some tapioca starch, or you can use cornstarch, means corn flour lah, can also. And then you just place in the prawns into the tapioca starch and use your other dried hand to bury them in the starch or in the flour. Just work things around your dry fingers lah. It's best to keep that dry hand dry throughout the whole process and then just shake away the tapioca starch that didn't stick on the prawns and then set them aside. It's best to set them aside for 30 minutes. Now let me repeat again the process very quickly. So what you do is you just bury them in the tapioca starch and then roll them around with your dried hands and then shake them off and then put aside. That is method A, velveting. Now, before I move on to method B, I just want to show you this is how I prep the prawns. I remove the shell, remove the head, and then I cut the back and I remove the poo-poo vein. That's it. Now moving on to method B. B for breadcrumbs. Okay, I have to say I've tried this method before on eggplants or aubergine, you like to call it, and I do a honey butter garlic sauce kind of thing and it worked. It is crunchy, and I'm wondering if this same method applies on protein as well, like prawns. Now same kind of clean prawns and then season them with salt and pepper as well, and then kasih mix well, and then next step you're gonna add in cornstarch. Okay, this time I'm saying cornstarch and then you're gonna mix them well. How much cornstarch, you ask? Well, enough to coat all the prawns is enough. Like this. Next, crack an egg. This time we are using the whole egg. Whisk it up. Make sure it's campur aduk until very well and then make some space to put a flat plate or something flat lah, like the chopping board also can. Put some breadcrumbs on it. Now my breadcrumbs doesn't have any taste to it, so I'm adding salt and black pepper. And then kasih campur aduk a bit. Okay, now we can start coating the prawns. Drown your cornstarch coated prawns, celup those prawns in the egg. Not too much of the egg sticking on the prawns lah, just enough to cover the whole prawns. And then put in the breadcrumbs and then you're gonna bury them again. Make sure that they're covered in the breadcrumbs, kasih pat a bit, make sure it lekat on the prawns. Lekat. Lekat lah. And then tada, done. Like that lah. Same thing, put it aside to let it set in about 30 minutes or so, okay? Now let's quickly repeat the process B again. Dip the cornstarch coated prawns in the egg, not too much, and then throw inside the desert of breadcrumbs. Well, it looks like desert to me lah. I've been in desert for quite some time now. I mean desert punya sand. Make sure you tanam them properly, then make sure just coat it properly lah, and then set it aside. Ladies and gentlemen, on the left we have velvety method, and on the right, breadcrumbs coated protein. The prawn frying starts now! No lah. Sorry potong steam sikit Actually, we're gonna fry the walnuts first. Okay, because I actually saw in Hong Kong, people do this dish with fried walnuts. I have walnuts, so I'm just gonna fry them a little bit and see how it tastes like. I'm using a small pot to use a lot of oil, and the oil must be enough to cover the frying prawns later lah. So for walnut, I'm making sure the oil is hot enough by using a chopstick and see if there's bubbles coming out from the chopstick. And then I'll just put the walnuts in. However, one big mistake I did during frying this walnut is I let it burn. I fry it more than 3 minutes. Guys, remember when you're frying walnuts, not more than 3 minutes, and do not fry it until this dark brown. It's gonna taste bitter. Not more than 3 minutes, slightly brown is enough. Aish, sakit hati I burn these walnuts. Okay, the real business is happening now. We're gonna fry prawn A first, the velveting method. So we're gonna put the prawns into the pot, of course, not crowded. Remember to flip them around because we want both sides to be cooked. When it's slightly golden, you can take out already because we're gonna double fry this thing. So take them out. I'm frying a couple of batches because the pot is small and I want to save oil, right? Just fry them all and then proceed to fry batch B, the breadcrumbs coated prawns. Actually, same process with batch A. Just put them in the pot and fry them all, not too crowded. But you have to look out because somehow these breadcrumbs coated prawns are getting dark very fast, faster than batch A. So you have to watch it, flip them as quickly as you can to check on the other side whether it's too dark or what. Luckily, prawns are easily cooked. So this is fine lah. It's faster and I'm pretty sure the prawns are cooked also. Actually, this batch B somehow looked very neat here, don't you think? It's quite pretty lah. Okay, double frying time. So what you're gonna do is you're just gonna heat up the oil for just a bit. Use chopstick to check whether it's hot enough lah and then just dump all the fried prawns in the oil. Itu je. Why double frying? Double frying is a method to make sure your food is crispy and crunchy. It's like the inception of frying. You are frying the things that you fried before, so you double fry it. You understand what I mean? But when you guys go out and explain to people what is double frying, please don't quote me. Okay, so you do double frying on both batches. Double frying just need about a minute or two, making sure that your food reaches the ideal golden means the ideal punya fried color lah. These are the end product, and let's inspect the crunchiness. I let the sound of the surface of this food to tell you whether they are crunchy or not. Okay, that's batch A, velveting prawns. Now batch B, breadcrumbs. So what do you think? Here I'm just showing you, I'm breaking down the burnt walnuts so that it's in bite size and everyone gets a bite of that walnut rather than a big chunk of it. Pretty good. Assembling the dish is freaking easy, okay? Basically, you just need 2 tablespoons of mayo, which is mayonnaise lah, and then some chopped up pineapples. I'm using canned ones. Squeeze in some lemon juice. I'm using half a lemon. And in goes the burnt walnuts. Kacau them, and then I realized, hey, wait, I forgot about sugar. Thing is, you can actually add the pineapple juice from the can. I mean the sugar syrup lah. I don't like to consume the water in the can. So what I did is I put icing sugar instead. Well, you can use sugar, but if you're like me using icing sugar, you don't have to worry about whether the sugar melt or not lor. Toss them around to make sure the fried prawns are coated with the sauce, and then sprinkle some white sesame seed and then toast them around again. And that's it. I must say lah walnut is not a compulsory ingredient for this dish. It's totally up to you whether you want to put it in or not. Do the same thing for batch B too. I mean, me lah, I done it lah. Sukatan everything, ingredients, all is exactly the same. It looks pretty too for both. So, what's the verdict? What is the best coat for these fried prawns? The answer is have you guessed it? It's A. Okay, why? Because this is a Chinese dish actually. Velveting is commonly used in Chinese dish. Batch B is more suitable for like when you fry it already and then you have a sauce separated from the dish, and then when you want to eat it, you just dip it in. Batch B is that kind of fried prawns if you are doing that kind of dish. Another important tip is only mix up the sauce and the fried prawns together just right before you are going to serve the dish, or else it'll get soggy. Okay, that's all. Happy cooking!